Hi, Jacinda. Hey, so I wanted to just check this module with you. So right now, I want to go check your code. And when I open up your code here, let's see, where's yours at? Here, maybe. Okay, so it's called, your module is called getGrade. That could be a problem here, where you've got it named getGrade. I don't know about that. But let's look at the rest of it here. So we're going to call this, I don't think we want to make it a public function. We're going to make it a function. And we're going to remove this as string part here. So it's going to be function. The name of it is going to be getGrade, your function. And that's different than the module. The score, the type of number is going to be a double. And that has to do with the number of characters that can be stored inside the digits. And then here's where you're going to be doing your select case. So you've got that part of it. Looks good. There's one thing here that I'm looking at. This. Okay, so the case is less than 100. So one area you might bump into is if somebody gets a 100 or if somebody gets over a 100, you're not trapping for that. So one thing we might want to do is to do this, case else is case else getGrade equals something else. Happened. Okay. But for this one, we want to make this greater than or equal to most likely. I'm not really checking any of this, real specifically, but this is pretty close to right. Okay, so let's save this, and let's close this. And then I'm going to close this file as well. I'm going to go back, I'm going to grab this that I downloaded. And sometimes it's helpful to pull this back up. Okay, so the way that we use your function in real life is to type equal sign, and then we type in the name of the function, which is the getGrade. And I press the tab key to select it. And now I'm going to choose cell B2 because that's where the number is that we want to evaluate. And when I go in here and I press the enter key and I see this name thing, the one thing that I'm thinking of right now, because this is probably the biggest problem you've got, when I go to view the code, what I see here is that you have your module named getGrade. Well, the module shouldn't be named the function, which is right here. So I think that's where the naming error is coming up with. So one of the things that we could do is we can copy this. Okay, so we'll just copy this. I'm going to insert a new function or a new module. And I'm just going to leave it module 1. Okay? I'm going to paste in the code, the adjusted code that we had. And then I'm going to eliminate this one. Remove getGrade. Yes, do you want to remove it? Yeah, remove it, but don't export it. We already copied it over. I'm going to save that. So it's called module 1. And the function, so that's different, is called getGrade. So I'm going to save it. I'm going to close it. And I'm going to close this thing as well. I'm going to go back. I'm going to find your macro that I downloaded. Where did I put it? Oh, I put it in downloads. Let me go snag it this way. Okay, so this is the one that I just did. There we go. I think this is right. Okay, so let's go back and look at your code. So if I view the code, See, it's module 1. There's not get grade there. There's the get grade. There's the greater than or less than or equal to 100. And then the case else that we added in there. Something else happened. And then the way that we call this function, so this is where the error showed before. So it had a naming error. But now it's using your getGrade function there to evaluate cell B2, which has got the 99 in it, and it comes up with an A, which should be correct. So one of the ways that we can use this same getGrade function is we could go back through here and we could type in all this stuff each and every time. I'm not going to do that though, because there's a quicker way to do it. If I click on the one that I created, which was good, and I want to drag it down, there's a tiny little dot on the bottom right side there. And you can see that my insertion point turns into a tiny little plus sign. And when I get it there, I just double click, and it automatically inserts that function in each one of those with the subsequent row number and cell number, which is all correct. So it's evaluating the one that's just next door to it. So the best way to test this, though, is to give it some different sort of scores. Okay. If I give that one a 45, I'll give that one a 65. And so you can see these are actually looking correct. If I give it a 79.9, that one should be a C. If I give this one an 89.9999999, let's see what it does. Okay, it gives it a B, rounds it to a 90. So the way we can fix this is we can add precision to the decimals. So if we increase the decimals, you can see that that decimal point shows up there, and then you get the actual scores. So if I do an 89.9, it stays in there and it gives it a B. So Excel is automatically rounding some of these things. 74s. So what's going to happen if we give this a 101 is it wasn't less than or equal to 100. So it was 101, which means that your code was not evaluating any score above 100. So something else happened. If we give one of these a negative 80, it shows that it gets an F. That's probably not going to be correct because it's not usual that you would get a negative score. So what we might want to do is come back in here and go to your view code, go to your module, and what we might want to do is evaluate scores. Maybe add another case. Let's just say we add another case. And we say this case is less than 0. Get grade equals score is less than 0. Okay? And it's going to go in sequence. So it's going to do this case first. It's going to do this case second. And it's going to go until it gets a match. So if it finds one that's a negative score, it's going to do something different with it. So let's go back up here and just check and see what this does. So now you can see it just says score is less than 0. And that's fine for these particular purposes because you haven't spoken to the professor to get the details down. Your code is working, and it's, it's perfectly normal to have code like this the first time around. So basically what you want to do is you want to get it working. So again, I inserted a new module. I copied and pasted what you had, and then I altered it so it looked like this. You had a little bit too much stuff going on there. So I think you can get rid of the public function. That's not necessary. And then the string portion that I removed. And then I added some other cases here. So let me know if that helps, and see if that will get you a little further down the road. Okay, thanks for reaching out. Hope that helps.